Let me ask you something. When was the last time you really looked at your air vents? Not just a quick glance, but actually stopped, got close, and took a good hard look at those little slats on your wall or ceiling. If you're like most people, the answer is probably something like, honestly, I can't remember. And that's completely okay. Air vents are one of those things that just kind of disappear into the background of your home. You walk past them every single day, and after a while, your brain stops registering them altogether. But here's the thing, and this is what stopped me cold one afternoon. Those vents don't stop collecting dust just because we stop looking at them. I was visiting my sister-in-law's house a while back. Beautiful home, spotless kitchen, freshly vacuumed carpets, flowers on the dining table. Everything looked wonderful. Then I went to adjust the thermostat, and I happened to glance down at the floor vent right next to the hallway wall. And I kid you not, there was a thick, gray mat of dust sitting on those slats like a carpet. It was packed in tight. There were actual dark streaks running down the wall below it from where the gunk had started to travel with the airflow. She had no idea. She cleaned that house top to bottom every week, and those vents had been sitting there like little dust factories the entire time. I told her about it, and her first reaction was, well, how do you even clean those things? Do you have to take them apart? Do you need some kind of tool? And that, right there, is the exact question that keeps most people from ever dealing with this problem. It feels complicated. It feels like a project. It feels like something you need to call somebody for. But what if I told you that you don't need special tools? What if I told you that you don't need to unscrew anything, scrub anything, or get down on your hands and knees? What if the whole job could be done in 10 minutes or less for about $3 and leave those vents looking almost brand new? That's exactly what this video is about, so stay with me, because by the time we're done here, you're going to look at your air vents completely differently, and you're going to have a simple, satisfying solution that actually works. Before we get into the solution, let's talk about why this problem is so much bigger than it looks, because this isn't just about appearances. This goes deeper than that, literally. Your home's heating and air conditioning system is essentially one big breathing machine. It pulls air in, runs it through a filter, heats or cools it, and then pushes it back out through those vents all around your house. Every time it does that cycle, a tiny bit of dust, lint, pet dander, pollen, and household particles gets carried along with the air. Most of it gets caught by your filter, but not all of it. What doesn't get caught? It settles, and it settles right there on the vent covers, those grills that sit at the end of every register in your home. Over weeks and months, those layers build up. The dust combines with the natural moisture and oils in the air, and it starts to pack together into something much thicker and stickier than ordinary dust. That's what my sister-in-law had. That's what millions of homes across this country have right now without even knowing it. And here's what most people don't realize. When that buildup gets thick enough, it actually restricts the airflow coming out of that vent. Your system has to work harder to push air through. Your heating and cooling bills can creep up. The air quality in your home goes down because instead of flowing freely, the air is picking up particles from that dirty surface and carrying them right into the room you're breathing in. For anyone with allergies, asthma, or just sensitive lungs, which becomes more common as we get older, this is a real concern. And yet, because nobody sees it happening, it just keeps going. Now, here's what makes cleaning air vents feel so daunting to most people. The traditional approach would be to grab a rag, maybe a screwdriver to remove the vent cover, carry it to the sink, try to scrub between those tiny slats with a brush, rinse it, dry it, and reinstall it. And if you have 15 or 20 vents in your house, which a typical American home does, that sounds like an all-day ordeal. It's exhausting just thinking about it. That's why this trick is such a game changer. It eliminates almost all of that effort. No removing, no scrubbing, no sink, no drying time. Just clean results in minutes. Let me show you exactly how it works. What you need. Here's one of the best parts of this whole method. You probably already have most of what you need sitting in your house right now, and anything you don't have can be picked up at any grocery store or dollar store for just a couple of dollars. The first thing you need is a can of compressed air. You've probably seen these at office supply stores or the electronics section of Walmart or Target. They're those small cans with a little straw attached to the nozzle, and they're used to blow dust out of keyboards and electronics. They usually cost around $3 for a single can, and one can will easily handle every vent in a standard home. This is the secret weapon of this whole method. Instead of scrubbing the dust off, we're going to blow it out quickly and efficiently without touching a thing. The second thing you need is a vacuum cleaner, just your regular household vacuum, whatever you normally use. It doesn't need any special attachments, though if you have a hose attachment or a brush attachment, that's a nice bonus. The vacuum's job is to catch the dust as it comes off the vent, so it doesn't float around your room and resettle somewhere else. The third thing you need is a microfiber cloth. These are the soft, slightly fuzzy cloths that are sold in multi-packs at most stores, usually in the cleaning aisle. They're absolutely wonderful for trapping dust because the tiny fibers actually grab onto particles instead of just pushing them around. If you don't have one, a slightly damp lint-free cloth will also work in a pinch. And the last item, completely optional, but I love including it, is a little bit of your favorite all-purpose household cleaner. Something simple like diluted dish soap and water works beautifully. Or, if you prefer something natural, a solution of equal parts white vinegar and water is fantastic. This is just for a final wipe down at the very end, and it takes the result from clean to genuinely sparkling. That's it. Compressed air, a vacuum, a microfiber cloth, and optionally a little cleaning solution. 4 things, $3 out of pocket at most, and 10 minutes of your time. Now, let's walk through exactly how to put it all together. Step-by-step process. Step 1, pick your first vent and get ready. Start in whatever room you're in right now. There's no wrong place to begin. Find the nearest floor vent or wall vent and take a moment to actually look at it. Really look. Run your eyes across those slats and take note of what's sitting on them. Is it a light coating of gray dust? Is it packed in thick? Are there dark streaks? Just observe, because in about 8 minutes, you're going to look at that same vent and feel genuinely satisfied. Before you do anything else, go get your vacuum cleaner and turn it on. Set it nearby, close enough that the suction is right next to the vent you're about to clean. If you have a hose attachment, hold it directly in front of the vent or just slightly off to the side. If you're using the full vacuum head, just set it close. The goal here is to have the vacuum running and ready before any dust starts flying. Think of it as setting up your catcher's mitt before you throw the ball. This is actually the step that most people would skip, and it's the one that makes the biggest difference in whether this feels clean or just moves the mess around. With the vacuum ready, you're going to capture the dust rather than release it into the air of your home. Now, pick up your can of compressed air and attach the little red or orange straw to the nozzle. This straw is what lets you direct the airflow precisely between those narrow slats. Hold the can upright. This is important because tilting a can sideways can cause it to release a cold liquid that can potentially damage surfaces. Keep it straight up and down. Now, bring the tip of the straw close to the vent, just a few inches away, and start pressing that trigger in short, controlled bursts. You don't need to hold it down continuously. Short, confident puffs are more effective and also make your can last longer. Work your way across the vent from one side to the other, making sure you're hitting every slat. You'll see the dust immediately start lifting and flying off. Some of it will go straight into your vacuum. Some of it might float up a little first before getting pulled in. That's completely normal. Just keep the vacuum running right there and let it do its job. Don't be alarmed if there's more coming off than you expected. That actually means this is working. That dust was sitting in your vent, and now it's gone, captured in your vacuum bag where it belongs. Give each vent about 30 to 45 seconds of compressed air, working from one end to the other and back. For vents that are particularly gunky or packed, you might do 2 passes. Trust your eyes. Keep going until you can see through the slats clearly and the dust is visibly gone. Step 3. The wipe down. Once the compressed air has done its work and the loose dust is cleared away, turn off your vacuum for a moment. Now, take your dry microfiber cloth and lay it flat across the face of the vent. Press it gently against the slats and give it a slow, smooth wipe from one side to the other. What you're doing here is picking up any last clinging particles that the air didn't fully dislodge. The microfiber is perfect for this because it doesn't just push things around, it actually grabs and holds on to dust particles. You'll see the cloth picking up whatever residue is left over, and when you pull it away, those slats will already look dramatically different. Now, here's the part most people miss, and it makes all the difference between a vent that looks cleaned and a vent that looks actually restored. After your dry wipe, dampen a second microfiber cloth or just a clean section of the same cloth with your cleaning solution, whether that's your diluted dish soap water or your vinegar solution, and give those slats one more gentle wipe. This damp wipe does two things. First, it picks up anything the dry cloth left behind. Second, and this is the really satisfying part, it removes that thin film of grease and residue that dust sticks to in the first place. When you wipe with a damp cloth, you're essentially resetting the surface. And when a surface is clean and smooth instead of sticky and grimy, it takes much longer for new dust to accumulate and bond. You're not just cleaning, you're protecting. Give the vent a few minutes to air dry or give it a quick pass with a dry section of cloth, and then stand back and look at it. Now, here's where this method really shines. Because you've got everything set up and you've got the hang of it, moving from vent to vent is fast. We're talking 2 minutes per vent, maybe less. Just carry your vacuum, your compressed air can, and your cloths to the next room. Take 30 to 40 seconds with the compressed air, do your dry wipe, do your damp wipe, and move on, room by room, vent by vent. For ceiling vents, you'll want to be careful. If you can reach them comfortably with your arm while standing on the floor, that's ideal. If not, use a stable step stool. Nothing too high, nothing that feels wobbly. Your safety is always more important than any cleaning task. For high vents, the compressed air is especially helpful because it does the heavy lifting without requiring you to scrub above your head. By the time you've done a few vents, you'll have a rhythm going, and when you get to that last vent in the last room and you wipe it down and step back, there's going to be a moment of real satisfaction because you'll know that every single vent in your house is clean right now, not just surface clean, actually clean. Let me paint a picture of what you're going to see when all of this is done. Before you started, those vents were gray. Dull. The slats were fuzzy with accumulated dust, maybe with dark streaks on the wall beneath them where the grime had started to travel. If you put your hand near the vent while the air was running, you might have felt a reduced flow, air struggling to push through all that buildup. After this method, those same vents are going to look almost new. The slats will be clearly visible and clean. The color of the metal or plastic will actually show through instead of being covered in that gray film. The wall around them will be clean, and when your heating or air conditioning kicks on, the air will flow freely and cleanly, not through a mat of packed dust, but through an open, clean grill. People often come into a room after this cleaning and immediately say, "Something feels different in here." And they're right. The air does feel different, cleaner, lighter, because it is. You've just removed a filter that was never supposed to be there in the first place. The whole project, all the vents in your home, takes right around 10 to 15 minutes for a smaller house, maybe 25 to 30 for a larger one. Not hours, not a weekend project, a short Saturday morning task that leaves you with results you'll actually be able to see and feel. Maintenance tips. Now that your vents are clean, let's talk about keeping them that way. Because the best part of doing this right is that you won't have to do a major cleaning like this very often if you stay on top of it. The single most effective thing you can do is give each vent a quick pass with your microfiber cloth once a month, just a 30-second wipe while you're doing your regular dusting. Because you've already removed that sticky residue layer, dust won't bond as aggressively to the surface, so a light wipe is enough to keep things clear. Every 3 to 4 months, do the full compressed air treatment again. This is a nice rhythm. It lines up well with the change of seasons, which is also when most people are switching between heating and cooling. Make it part of your spring cleaning and your fall preparation routine, and your vents will stay in great shape all year long. Also, and this is genuinely important, check your HVAC filter monthly. Your vent covers work together with your central filter, and if your central filter is clogged, more debris ends up at the vents. Most filters need to be replaced every 1 to 3 months, depending on the type and your household. Replacing it on schedule is one of the simplest things you can do to protect your air quality and your system's efficiency. One more tip, if you notice that one particular vent tends to get dirtier faster than the others, pay attention to where it is in your home. Vents near high traffic areas, near the kitchen, or near a pet's favorite sleeping spot will naturally collect more debris. Just give those specific vents a little extra attention, and you'll stay ahead of any buildup. Well, there you have it, the complete 10-minute $3 air vent cleaning method that actually works. No scrubbing, no disassembling, no complicated tools, no getting on your hands and knees. Just compressed air, a microfiber cloth, and a little bit of know-how. I want you to close this video, walk to the nearest vent in your home, and just take a look at it. Really look. If it's been a while since those slats have seen any attention, I think you're going to be surprised. And once you try this method, once you see how fast it goes and how dramatically different those vents look, I think you're going to wonder why nobody told you about this sooner. That's actually the best part of these simple household tricks. They're not complicated. They don't require fancy equipment or expensive cleaning products. They just require someone to show you the right approach, and then you've got it for life. If you found this helpful today, I would absolutely love to hear from you in the comments below. Tell me, did you try this method? Which room did you start in? Were you shocked by how much was on those vents? Those stories genuinely make my day, and your comments help other people know that this actually works and is worth trying. And if you have a question, any question at all about this method or about cleaning your vents in a specific situation, drop it down below. I read every comment and do my best to answer personally. If this video helped you today, please give it a thumbs up. It's a small thing, but it means a great deal, and it helps other people who need this information find their way to it. And if you want to see more simple, practical, no-fuss cleaning tips designed specifically to make your home life easier, please subscribe and hit that bell icon so you never miss a new video. We post new tips every week, and every single one is designed to be simple, safe, and genuinely useful for real people in real homes. And speaking of which, next time we're going to tackle something that's almost as sneaky and overlooked as those air vents. We're talking about baseboards, those long strips at the bottom of every wall in your home that collect an absolutely shocking amount of dust and grime, and that most people clean completely the wrong way. I've got a 5-minute method that leaves them looking freshly painted, and you're going to love it. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that one. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Now go check those vents. I have a feeling you're in for quite the surprise. Take care, stay well, and I'll see you in the next one.